Yo guys, what is going on? Back with some more EX5 gameplay, or actually this might be the first full video I'm doing for the format, and here with the automated simulator, a couple things I want to remind you guys of. Number one, this simulator is not out yet, still a work in progress, so just bear with me for a second. It will be released to the public, and you guys will have to pay absolutely nothing. Completely free to play simulator for the community. No one is asking for your money. And also a reminder that no art assets are included in the simulator. This has nothing to do with Bandai, just a passionate project for the fans. And so let's get into some EX5 gameplay. You see here I'm playing Edamon down at the bottom. Our opponent is on Red Hybrid. That card right there is the BT7 Flamemon that reveals 4, adds a Takuya, or adds a hybrid amongst the revealed cards. Now, Edamon is a really interesting deck. I don't think this deck was quite real enough, to be honest, up until EX5. With EX5, you got a new evolution line. You also got the win condition being EX5 Metal Edamon, allowing you to stack the yellow I forgot which set that Edamon is, but the yellow Edamon that lets you heal and security when it dies. You can put that into your security with the Metal Edamon EX5, allowing you to redirect an attack either to the player or either to that Digimon, effectively acting as a blocker, or if your opponent's trying to get over it, you can just redirect it to your security instead. And so we're going to do the most, not the most ideal play here, missing a level 4, and again, this is one of those things that makes the deck not ultra competitive. It's just because it is inconsistent. So we're going to slam an Edamon. Luckily, pretty much most of the Edamons do have an on-play of some kind. So this one gets to de-digivolve a Digimon on the field, which is actually pretty strong into Red Hybrid here, because we got the Aguni. Our opponent's going to go Burning Gray. So if the Burning Gray does end up dying to security somehow, it is going to play out a Takuya for free. That's definitely not something we want. So honestly, it is better if his Burning Gray ends up living. He's going to go Atomic Inferno here, checking 2 security cards, hitting 2 security Digimon actually. So we're going to hit the Sukamon there. That does play itself alpha free, and the Edamon there has a really strong security effect. Basically, if you have 3 or more Sukamons in your trash, when it's revealed in security, you can free play a level 6 Edamon from your hand. So that can either be King Edamon to give all your guys blocker, and then being able to stun the field if one of your guys dies on block, for example, or being able to play out your boss monster Metal Edamon as well. Again, his effect is on play as well, allowing you to remove the field of any annoying Digimon or Tamers as well. So very good utility Digimon here. Again, the problem being the deck is inconsistent and lacks a little bit of like memory gain. I'd say the real only memory gain you have is through like any of the training boosts or any of the memory boosts, stuff like that. But we can do some stuff here. So we've got 3 memory to work with. I think the plan could definitely be to go into Metal Edamon, establish ourselves a blocker, and deleting one of our opponent's Digimon. Now here, I probably shouldn't have promoted the Chumon, because it does give him access to a 3-cost Crimson Blaze, and most likely here I am going to put him to 3. So honestly, that Chumon is not doing anything. I was still a little bit unfamiliar with the deck at this point, so you'll have to bear with me, but I thought this was still a really good showcase regardless of what you can actually do with this deck. Also, all of your evolution lines basically have really strong on-deletion effects as well. The Edamon right there on deletion inherited is you can play black level 3 from your hand, which basically is only Chumon. So floats into Chumon, and then the Sukamons also offer protection. If you were to be deleted, you can delete a Sukamon instead. The only problem being it's kind of very reliant on your Sukamon, so if you don't see enough Suka names, you kind of can't really do anything. Like you see here, I only have 1 in hand, whereas a couple of the Edamons like require you to pitch 1 from hand or from their sources to trigger an effect. You need 3 in trash for the yellow Edamon security effect. And you want more in trash for the Metal Edamon on evolve / on play as well. So there might be a couple ways to maybe boost that. Maybe playing stuff like Analog Youth to filter through your deck a little bit, setting up the trash might be a good option. But our opponent here is going to go Burning Greymon, swinging at security. Now here I can definitely just recover. I'm going to recover the Sukamon onto my security, which is really cool because it has a security effect. So basically I can just free play it while stopping an attack, kind of. So debating here whether or not to switch it to the Digimon here. I didn't want him to get his Takuya played for free, so I am just going to eat the hit and then just play out this Sukamon. Again, this was playing into Crimson Blaze pretty hard. So here he is just going to swing into security with the hybrid here, and most likely just clear up the board if he does have it, or if he has something like a Burning Gray. Yep, we are going to see Crimson Blaze for a 4 cost. Being able to drop the Toko is nice, but Crimson Blaze does actually hurt this deck as well, because you do have like on deletion, play a Digimon, play a Chumon from your Trash Suspended, play a Edamon, etc. So you actually do just get you know, you get hurt by a lot of the hate that people are citing in for Lugia and Anubis and decks like that. So we are going to play the BT7, the Sec Attack +1 inherited Takuya there. That is the 3 cost one. So we're just going to start our turn with 3. Again, I think we can do some stuff here. Not having a second Metal Edamon hurts here, because if we did, we could just immediately pop the Tamer, and then we'd had double redirect plus double heal. The redirecting is one thing, but the fact that you can heal as well is really, really annoying for this deck. Or not for this deck, but for decks you're playing into. So we are just going to go King Edamon here. The effect gives all of our Edamons blockers, so we effectively have 3 redirects here, 3 blocks, like a redirect and a block on the Metal Eda, and then a block with the King Eda, and then we've got a heal as well. Also choking our opponent to 1 security is pretty nice as well. The problem here is that Red Hybrid is just such a really, really fast paced deck. If you're not able to keep tempo with them, like every single turn by either clearing a Tamer, establishing one of your blockers, etc. They have access to a lot of removal in the form of Crimson Blaze, Emperor Greymon, etc. And they just pressure you so much. All their guys float, so you kind of don't want to block their guys. So we are going to go the Metal Edamon here to block now, or sorry, to redirect. Now here I should have blocked this. The reason why is because you always want to save your redirect against Red Hybrid in case they have Atomic Inferno. This is something that came up a lot when I was playing Machine Dramon. I just escaped my brain, and like my friend playing Red Hybrid into me, I was like, oh dude, like of course I should be doing that. The reason being is because if you redirect, like if they Atomic Inferno, they have to use a memory, and then if that's the case, you just redirect and they don't gain the 3 memory off of that. The problem is, now that I've used up my redirect, he does have the memory available to be able to just Atomic Inferno, boost his guy up to 11k or whatever, and it's actually going to be more here because he's got the Burning Greymon as well, boosting up to 10k because of the extra inherited DP from the Burning Gray, and then we're going to Gravity Crush, Atomic Inferno for 1, 13,000 gets over both my stacks, and at the very least here, like now, it's either do I eat 2 damage or do I like block here and give my opponent 3 memory. Probably should have just eaten the damage. Again, now I will say Edamon I think is a very high ceiling deck, and I'm clearly not like doing it justice. I think there is a lot of decision making in this deck, and a lot of scenarios like this where one slight little misstep against a meta deck is just going to cost you the whole game. You see here, not only do I lose my stack, and I was like, okay, yeah, like I get to play something back, I save myself the damage, but realistically, I can just heal next turn. If I kept the King Eda, I could have established another blocker as well, because I would have gained the 2 memory off the Gravity Crush. So I would have been in a pretty decent position, despite only being at like 1 security. So I think definitely eating the hit was correct. But regardless, we are going to just take the block, losing the King Eda, losing the blocker as well. I didn't want to get rid of the Metal Eda because I didn't want to lose out on the heal. But now losing out on the blocker is effectively the same thing. So again, looking back on this in retrospect, I should have played that differently. So our opponent here is going to just play the Memory Setter Takuya because he realizes that, okay, like my stack is not dying, and you know I'm not killing it. And then he's going to play Gatsu because he realizes, okay, Gatsu is pretty strong into Edamon. The thing being, at least for Gatsu, like you have answers to that because you have a lot of -3k, you have a lot of effects that delete lower bodies. Crimson Blaze is the hard part because you cannot interact with that card whatsoever. So we've got 5 memory here. So now imagine like I'm at 5 memory, I've got the King Eda on field, I can still move out this stack. And then I would have the capability to go into another blocker because I've got this Edamon here, and then I can maybe perhaps dig a little bit more with the defense training, and then or I could digivolve into the Platinum Sukamon here, crash it into the Burning Gray or something, de-digivolve it, swing over so he doesn't get like a Takuya or something. But there's definitely opportunities for me to come back here. I think it is quite an annoying deck to deal with, especially like you see, I'm still 3 security against red hybrid, which realistically should not be happening. No other deck, I think, unless you're playing maybe like Blackmore or something, can pull off something like that. But the heal is also really important. So we are going to try to dig here for level 6. Not seeing an extra level 6 was really unfortunate. So once again, yeah, that King Edamon was pretty essential. We're gonna go ahead and swing the Chumon into security here just to try to get in some damage, because we really have not poked our opponent whatsoever, and at some point we do need to poke for damage. So I think this point in time is fine. I was about to play the Prime Memory Boost, but then I was like, okay, no, I don't want to give my opponent 4, because that means he can double hybrid, and that's a lot of damage. So we are just going to use the training and grab another Edamon here, so at least the next turn, if I do have you know, I'll draw for turn, I'll be able to draw off the Chumon and cycle a couple of cards and seeing if I can get into level 6. Another thing that's really unfortunate about this deck is the 1-cost Evo rookies. This Chumon that's in hand right now has a really great main effect where you can reduce the cost by 1 if you evolve into a Sukamon. So it effectively makes Sukamon a 1-cost champion, which is really great, and it's not once per turn either, I don't think. Or at the very least, if it is, it's like the once per copy kind of thing. So if you're stacked eyes, you bring it back, you evolve again, you evolve for 1. So it's really strong. The 1 Evo cost is just so annoying. So here our opponent is going to warp into the Emperor Greymon, being able to stick the 5 hybrids underneath and deleting my Metal Edamon, which is going to have a couple of on deletions. And here I misread this card. I thought the Chumon on play could discard a card to grab back an Edamon as well. It only grabs a Sukamon, man. This card was almost so good. Is it really too much to ask for? Like, purple has like a billion things that they can add back from trash. Like, can I not just grab back an Edamon? Because I know that there's a BT14, the BT14 yellow Edamon in my security. So when my opponent hits it on the last check, I can free play a metal Edamon on play, pop one of his guys, and then I've got a blocker plus a heal. And dude, like, it would be, or I could play out the King Edamon to get 2 blockers, and then if I block with the Edamon, I get to -sec attack something. Like, there's so many combos I could do. But regardless, like, this deck just not seeing its level 6s was really unfortunate. So here I'm just like, dude, like, what can I do? Can I do anything? And then it's just like, no, I'm just gonna have to eat this Emperor for 3 checks. And I mean, there's no options that are gonna trigger. I think he does have the Aldemon. So realistically, it's GG. He just needs to be able to swing. Like, yeah, he does hit the Edamon, but now that I know I don't have any way of adding back a level 6, I don't think there's anything I can save me, because I'm not playing Chikuri in this build, which that might be an addition to add, since you are playing black base. You know, something you can do. But yeah, so here I was perfectly set up for that effect, but just did not have the resource to do it. So our opponent is just going to go into security, checking the rest, and then closing out the game with the Burning Great. Or rather, the Omni. Okay, that was just unnecessary. You did not have to flex like that. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys want to see more sim gameplay down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.